Does anybody else got something? What you got, Emma?
Nothing.
What you got, Kendra?
I guess, like, does it really matter, like, how a girl dresses? Depending if you want to dress, like, if you want to date her or not.
Yeah.
Why?
Pineapple_girl donated $19. Girl in chat who looks like the Crimson Chin from the Fairly Odd Parents cartoon.
So if a man walked over to you in a trench coat with nothing under it and opened it up and asked you for a date, would you go on one with him?
What did you just say?
If a man in a trench coat with nothing under it walked over to you and then opened it so that you could see the full Monty, would you go on a date with him?
The whole what?
Everything.
He had nothing on under the trench coat, and he opened the trench coat and said, "You want to go on a date? Would you go on a date with him?"
Okay, but girls don't walk around like showing all of that.
Can we pull up her Instagram?
Okay, so what's the answer to the question? What's the answer to the question?
If I go around flashing somebody,
Yeah,
they're
I know.
gonna take
I'm
me.
not asking what you would do. I'm asking you this question. If a guy in a trench coat with nothing under it walked over and then undid the trench coat and opened it up and there was nothing under the trench coat, would you go and ask you on a date? Would you go on a date with him?
I don't understand the relevance to this question.
Are you going to answer the question? Why won't you just answer the question?
Yes. If he's
You
packing.
would.
If he's packing. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
No, I wouldn't go on a date with him. What?
No, you wouldn't. So I guess it matters what people wear.
People don't wear that, though.
Yeah, I mean, yes, there's people that wear that. If you assume for a second, for instance, that women who are on the beach are literally in a pair of bra and panties, right? They're literally in bra and panties. That's what they're in. And so the idea here is that just like you probably would not prefer that a guy came over to you with a trench coat, which is basically wearing nothing, and then opened it up, that there could be many men who would not be particularly appreciative of women being very scantily clad. That's why it would matter. The same reason that preference matters to you is the same reason that preference would matter to us, right?
So if a guy walks around without a shirt on, I shouldn't accept a date either.
Yeah, so these are social taboos versus natural taboos. So there's plenty of cultures where women, for instance, will walk around with no shirt, and that's not considered to be any type of taboo whatsoever. However, nudity, cross-culture, almost universally, is always considered to be something which needs to be covered up. This would be your genital region specifically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who had the other question? Somebody else send the other.
I mean, if women just want to walk around topless all day, I doubt that there's going to be many men who object.
I kind of just meant like if she, shows a little cleavage here and there, not the whole ordeal, but.
Yeah, so you're kind of intersecting with social taboos. So the idea here is the type of woman who generally would walk around with their cleavage showing, type of woman who generally would likely be promiscuous from a man's perspective. And so that's why he would probably be looking for women who didn't do that. The idea is not that you're doing something particularly wrong, right? What are you doing which is wrong? Well, you're not actually doing anything wrong, but you're sending out a signal that would be against the preferences of the man.
Okay.
Right?
So like stereotype, kind of.
Well, I think that stereotypes exist for a good reason. I think that human beings use heuristics and use kind of mental shortcuts in order to make very quick judgments, even though the conveyance of information is incorrect. So, for instance, if a cop on the horn says, "This is a white male suspect. He's 6 foot and he's in a black shirt and jeans." Now, that doesn't really actually tell you very much, but it tells you enough. It's a mental shortcut so that you can relay enough information to somebody that they can understand what you're saying. But human beings operate this way with everything they do. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, hand me that. I haven't really given you much information, but you probably can ascertain what I'm asking you to hand me. This is the same thing when it comes to stereotypes. We use these mental shortcuts because we're kind of pattern recognition machines. So the more we see a behavior with one particular grouping or cluster of people, the more we tend to stereotype that cluster of people in a negative or positive light. And that's part of the survival mechanism of human beings, including you. For instance, for you, if you saw a group of men walking towards you at 11:30 at night, you might cross the street, right? Yeah. So hang on, you just took a mental shortcut and stereotyped an entire group of men.
And they
just
could all
based
be
on
gay.
the fact. Yeah, and by the way, perhaps rightfully so. You perhaps stereotype them rightfully so. No, I don't even think anybody would blame you. I wouldn't blame you. Q, would you blame her?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not, right? It seems totally reasonable to me that you would make such a stereotypical kind of, idea in your head. I need to cross the street. This could be very dangerous for me. I wouldn't beat you up for that, but it's a stereotype, right?
Because it's like assuming the worst. The probability that exists that it could be bad, or it could be somebody who would rob you or SA you, you don't want to take that chance, so you just cross the street.
Yep. Yep. And so this is why, same thing, you see women who dress in very kind of promiscuous clothing, right or wrong, the judgment that they are going to be promiscuous women, I'm sure many of them won't be. But you can understand why men would judge it that way. I mean, does that make sense, or am I way off there?
I think it makes sense.
Make sense?
Okay.